Hey everybody, thank you very much for joining this afternoon. Just quickly, if you ask a question via Slido, I'll be able to see them at the end and hopefully I have some time. I'll just leave that here for now. So yeah, as Ed said, I'm the co-founder and CEO of Advocately, and I'm going to talk about how we went from 0 to 100 trial signups a month. As he also mentioned, this is super, super tactical. This is what we did when we'd say, had our handful of first customers, mainly who are our friend software companies, and we're growing a little bit through word of mouth, how we could kind of start experimenting and take control of our growth without having to try and learn SEO or try content strategies that we weren't necessarily familiar with and aligned with our strengths. So yeah, 0 to 100 trial signups per month with no content. And just to be clear, this isn't some like startup, we're killing it story. This is just like one thing that we did, which hopefully doesn't take too much time and some people can start doing sooner rather than later, like by next Friday. It's not a big thing. I don't think my clicker is working. Okay, we're back. So firstly, it is always a work in progress. I first messaged our friend Alex, who puts together this wonderful event, about talking about this subject here on April 17th. And since then, we have iterated and optimized the idea multiple times. Like, we're always working on it. And in fact, last Thursday, we rolled out a new iteration again. So the first thing we want to do is build a list of customers that are perfect for the product you have right now, like immediately. Not one day every SMB should use us, or one day Boeing is going to use us, or Oracle is going to use us. Who is perfect for what you have right now? And that's actually really important in tracking the success. So just to explain how we did it, none of this involves using Advocately, but I'm going to use us as the example because it's what we did, is we provide customer advocacy software for SaaS companies, and a huge part of that is review automation. So we built our list of customers by going and looking at who was utilizing websites like Capterra and G2Crowd, as well as other websites like the QuickBooks Online Marketplace, review sites, the Shopify Review Marketplace, the Xero Review Marketplace. And then even then, we didn't just take being listed as a metric to make the list, but they had to be actively engaged. They had to be like paying for the review platform, have a certain number of reviews. And that's how we got this list. So there really should be about 500 to 3,000 people in total on the list, and not getting a list of 10,000 people and taking 500 or 3,000 off the top. There should be like a vertical or a series of attributes that bring them all into that bracket together. So yeah, build a list of customers who are perfect for you to have right now, and be really honest with yourself because it only affects you. The second thing we did is we created a free product that was useful for this audience. It should be related to your main offering and take little to no dev time. This isn't some like, oh, we do employee scheduling software, so we're going to spend 3 months building something to do with, I don't know, nothing necessarily to do with employee scheduling. Ideally, it's some form of feature that you already have that you can go and like package up, just like a few days dev time, package up kind of separately. Make sure the onboarding is like 1 or 2 minutes, super, super simple. So what we did, again, keeping in mind our list to provide the context, is we decided to, what we do is every time we get a customer a new review, we post it into Slack. And people really, really liked it, so we decided to release a review monitor for Slack. So basically, anytime they set up, they got a new review or one of their competitors got a new review, we said we'd put it into Slack for them. And that was our idea and our thesis, and something we were very happy to give away for free. And yeah, no dev time is really important. So this is what the onboarding looked like. We already had the backend tech, but we just wanted it to be like one click, add to Slack. This is, slides are not my forte, so I just took a screenshot. That Slack image there is like a GIF that shows new reviews coming in, but super, super simple. They basically click add to Slack, search for their own company name, choose the channel it goes into, and they're done, and it's over. So the first tool we need, now we've got a list of perfect customers and a thesis around something we can give away for free that they will ideally get value from and will keep using. The first tool we use is Clearbit. I'm not sure if anybody's heard of Clearbit before. They've got a number of products. We use a product of theirs called Prospect, which is essentially for us an API to find contacts. We essentially send a list of the domains, so those 500 to 3,000 companies. We send those domains through the Clearbit API, and we say, hey, we want to contact in marketing or customer success or a founder or a CEO or a CTO or whoever it is you think you're going to intelligently target to deliver value to, and they return a high quality email that basically never bounces, so we can personally reach out to them. So the second tool we use is a tool called Sales Whale. Really great tool. It's essentially an email sequencing tool. So we're going to email these people and we're going to tell them, hey, we've got a new free tool. This should be a personal email. We use each one of these, I'll show you some examples, is still personally edited before it is sent, but it should look as if you've sat at your computer and typed out a Gmail email. It shouldn't look like HTML or look like it comes from HubSpot or Marketo or something like this. So yeah, once we have Clearbit, we're going to send them personal emails, and essentially they should look like this when they hit the inbox. Super plain, super boring. We want to add personalization, which I'm going to talk about later. If anybody wants to email me for any of the email templates we've used, successful or failure, more than welcome. You know where to find my email now with Clearbit. So they're super, super plain. And essentially what will happen is we have 4 emails in the sequence. And if anybody hits reply at any point, they stop getting follow-up emails, which is really important. So the first mistake we made is, so we had this thesis, we had the list, we had the really high-quality contacts from Clearbit. We'd spent a couple of days putting in a good skin over the product, and we started emailing people, and we said, you know, I'm sorry, this is probably too small to see, but we essentially said, hey, we've got this new free product. It's going to give you a heads up every time you get a new review, and push it into Slack. Click here to sign up. It takes 1 minute. And people did. Like 25% of people did. It was like, we were really happy with that result. However, it was a mistake, as you're then in this weird situation where you've just said, hey, we've got this new free thing. It takes 2 minutes to set up and you're done. And then you're like, oh, but you know, I want to tell you this other thing I got as well. So you kind of like have to re-lead nurture these people. It might take you 2 more weeks to get them on the phone call. There's a drop-off. But what it did do, the reason it was beneficial is we did validate that people wanted this thing that we had. They were willing to click through and set it up. So what we did is we switched from saying, we said, okay, that's fair enough. What we're going to do is we're going to, instead of saying click here to set it up and then we have to re-lead nurture them, we're going to say, hey, exactly the same thing, except it takes 2 minutes to set up. We've done all the work for you. We just need you to click a couple of buttons. We're going to do it. Let me know when is a good time for you to do it on a phone call together if you're interested. And that way we got to have a conversation, which is really good as well, because like we said, this is hyper-tactical, handful of customers growing through referrals. You still need customer feedback and validation. And if you said this is the perfect list of customers, if I could target 500 to 3,000 companies in the entire world, this is the list we're talking to, you really want to be able to talk to them about both the free product and the main offering to get that feedback, because I don't think we're ever beyond getting feedback from who we think is perfect. So yeah, that's why that was beneficial as well. One thing that's really, really important is this phone call is not a bait and switch. Like, it's not like we're selling timeshares. When you get on the phone, you say, hey, thank you for taking the call. We would love to, before I help you, talk you through the setup process, which is only going to take a moment, would you like me to re-explain what the Slack tool that I described does? Do you want me to, is there anything I can do to help? Maybe before I talk you through the setup, answer any questions they have, help them with the setup, talk through, send the link, and once you've done that, if you've done the onboarding, should only take 1 or 2 minutes, you should really only be 3 or 4 minutes into the call. So what we'd then say is something along the lines of, that's great, that's going to be free forever, totally set up. If you ever have any questions, let us know. We're super responsive. You've got my phone number, WhatsApp me, call me, whatever. We've got this other product as well, and I'd love to get your feedback on it. And these are people who've already expressed interest in what you've got originally and set it up, and I don't think I've ever had anybody say no. But it's just about being really gentle, really friendly, and that's, that seems to work for us. So next thing, the third tool you need, so once you've got the contacts, you've got the emails going out via Sales Whale, the third tool you need is a CRM. We use Fresh Sales. I love Fresh Sales. I know Aman uses Fresh Sales as well. Because even when people reply, so let's say you send these messages out and they go, sure, I'd love to talk. And 1 in 4 times you'll go, okay, great. Do these times work? Send some times in their time zone. Always go off their time zone. They don't care where you live. I live in Singapore. I'm up to 3 a.m. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday doing calls. No one cares where you live. You've got to go to their time zone. But let's say 1 in 4 people who express interest, you have an immediate back and forth email correspondence with, and they show up to the meeting. Where most other people will say, yeah, sure, Patrick, really interested. Would love to set that up. Let me know some times that work for you. And you go, okay, great. How about 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. your time, Tuesday or Wednesday of next week? And nothing. And so you, if they're the perfect customers, you want to make sure you get them as leads into your CRM where you can track and monitor them and make sure, track them and monitor them and make sure they're being followed up. Because again, they're your perfect leads. So we use Fresh Sales. Some other plays that we use to increase our performance. Firstly, anytime somebody does sign up for our product, does create a free trial, we have it go into Slack, because often what will happen is you'll email people, you'll say, hey, we've got this product, and they won't email you back, but they might go to your website and sign up for a free trial. So if you've only sent them 2 emails out of your 4 email sequence, you want to make sure they stop getting those follow-up messages, and you should start messaging them related to the free trial. It's just going to seem super messy, super unprofessional. The second tool we use is a tool called Bonjoro, which I really, really like. If somebody's looking at you're not the only person messaging anybody about a new software tool. We find a great way, especially those people who expressed interest originally. Sure, Patrick, I'd love to try out the free product, but did not get back to us. We send them a tool called Bonjoro. We send them a video using Bonjoro. It's like a short selfie video where you can say, hey, thanks so much. We'd love to organize time to talk. But basically differentiate yourself from all the other messages they're getting about different software tools they're using. I signed up for like a Marketo trial 2 years ago, still get heaps of emails. Like everybody's inbox is overfilled, so actually sending a personal video, mention them, make sure it's clear, it's not like generic, mention their company name, mention where they're based, and we find that really engaging as well. The third play we use to increase performance is we send 4 emails. Lots of people who are much better at doing this process than me say 6 or 8. We think 4 is enough. You're giving something away for free. If they're not interested after 4, I would rather go back to something else. I would rather just stop for now. They're not getting back to us, let's move on to something else. The other thing to keep in mind, or somebody else in the organization, the other thing to keep in mind in 2017, especially with our customer type, people are staying in their jobs like 18 to 24 months. So realistically, like first 6 weeks onboarding, last 3 months looking for another job. Somewhere in the middle, there's a month's annual leave where they're not responding to stuff. I'd rather just stop for now, move on to somebody else in the organization, or maybe go back to them later. And then finally, the fourth tool is personalization, like personalizing it to them, personalizing it to their job title, personalizing it to their business. I personally think it's up to you. Some companies will have SDRs spending 20 minutes crafting an outbound sales email. I actually think that's too much. So it's up to you. I think by giving away something for free that's of value to a targeted audience, you can do less personalization, like spend less time doing it. And I also think that some personalization is like really fake and really obviously fake and could resolve in an eye roll rather than no personalization at all. Like, hey, I read this on your About Us page that you care about your team or something, that somebody bought the About Us page like 2 years ago. So I'd be careful with personalization as far as time, but it does have a place and can lead to an increased response rate. Just don't do fake personalization. Okay, so once we have all of this working, once your response rate's high, so we've had as high as 25%, but I definitely want to get like to 8% or 5% at least would be my absolute minimum. If there's anything below 8%, I would say for this super targeted, they're your best customers ever, that kind of thing, I would look above. I would look at the process above. I'd look at, are these companies actually perfect? Are you targeting the right person? Are you targeting marketing when you should be targeting customer success? I would look above this line, but once you have this working, I would start to look at Facebook advertising in the Google Display Network. You can upload the list of customers who you're targeting. They're your perfect customers, once again, and just every time they open Facebook, they can see your ads. Every time they read like the New York Times, or I read a lot of mixed martial arts websites, or whatever it is that you read, your ads will show up. And it can be very cost effective as well, but I wouldn't do this until you already have it. It drives 2 things. Some people will see your ads and click through and do trials just off that, even before you email them. And some people are more likely to respond to your email if there's some form of brand recognition or awareness or positivity. So that was a positive step for us as well, and that's relatively new. So here are some of the metrics we track. Each week we track number of email sequences sent. There are plenty of weeks where we do not start any more email sequences. The number 100 is arbitrary. They're your perfect customers. Only contact them if you have the bandwidth to contact them. I'm at SaaStock this week. You know how many people we're emailing? 0. So that's one, and we track the count and the conversion rate of each of these. We track new favorable replies, so people who reply to those emails saying, yes, we're interested, we call those outbound leads. We also track the new leads from ads, so the people who just see the ads and click through to our website and start a trial. We track the number of meetings booked, so the number of people we actually get to talk to out of all of these. There's often a gap there. One thing we track is proof of concepts live. We don't really care about people starting a free trial. It's basically like a really neat way of lead capture, but they basically click things around. I care about people who've set up a free trial and actually set a campaign live to get more reviews, and those reviews are going in their Slack because of what they used our software for. So starting a free trial doesn't really matter. I like to see them get an outcome during the free trial, like something they're interested in achieving, a desired outcome, something they'd expect if they were paying you a trial. I want them to get that during the free trial period. So we call that a proof of concept going live, and then new revenue and customers as well. And finally, back to my original point, I'm not sure if this is even legible on these screens, but the screenshot of me messaging Alex about this on April 17th. It's always a work in progress. Once you have this working, I would improve the website. You know, you're going to get a lot more mobile traffic once you start doing Facebook ads and the Google Display Network, the Google Ad Network. Go back to the people who never replied with something else. So the first list we uploaded to do the ads was the people who never emailed us back. Target somebody else at the same company. It's essentially always a work in progress. I'm just going to say that's pretty much everything I wanted to cover. I think I've got three minutes left. Let me just have a look at this. So what I said about SEO and content that made us not want to use it, we just didn't know. We just didn't know anything about it. I understand that it takes a while to build up. For what we're doing, there wasn't necessarily a massive level of search intent for us, but it was just something we were not familiar with. But we did know we had a targeted customer list, and this was something we knew we could drive like pre-qualified leads with. Does Clearbit work for small businesses, or do you have to be going after enterprise customers? I don't know. It worked really well for us. Admittedly, we do work with a lot of technology companies. I would just do a trial. I would just pick a list of 200 customers that are your small businesses. I don't know what small business means, because a lot of our customers aren't enterprise customers. They're like 12 employee companies, 50 employee companies. We do have 1,000, 2,000 as well, but Clearbit worked well for us for both ends of the spectrum. So I definitely recommend trying it out. How did we get customers that truly love you? I don't know. We talk to them all the time. Anytime they need anything, we take their feedback and we pump it straight back into product. Really good question. But we just ask them for their feedback all the time and build what they need when they ask us to build it. We're very responsive. Does anybody have any other questions? If you just want to shout something out? No? Okay. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You got 1 minute and 18 seconds.
Hello,
Bonjoro guys are just up the front if anybody has any questions about Bonjoro either.
Did you try anything with instant messaging or messaging because it has higher conversion rates than email, for instance? Like instant messaging, WhatsApp or SMS?
Oh, we haven't tried that. No. No, good question. We haven't tried instant messaging at this stage. We're not capturing people's phone number anywhere. I don't know if there is a Clearbit for phone numbers. I don't know. I know other people are doing it, but we haven't done it yet.